Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video was requested by a lady in the comments section a couple of weeks ago. Since then, I've been ruminating over exactly how to approach the topic because I'm not a relationship guru, or this channel is not about relationships. However, I have lived life. That's the first thing. And also this channel is about personal growth. It's about building resilience. And when you grow as a person, relationships is part of that. Also, there are things that happen in relationships that teach you to be resilient. So since then, as I said, I've been thinking about how best to approach this topic. And by now, you're probably wondering, what's the title got to do with it? How does the diary of a single mad black woman come into it? Well, I'm going to get into that in a bit. First of all, I just want to mention that this is the first part of a series that I'm going to make on relationships. This is just the first video, just having a chat, and I've written some things down so as to not leave anything out. So I thought today I'm going to start with this topic, and I'm going to address it from the perspective of starting over. I believe that before we can even begin to start talking about dating or tips as to how to navigate the dating world, I think, or I believe that it is important to lay the foundation, how to start over or how to start a brand new life at any age. And when we talk about starting over or starting a brand new life, whether you've decided to move abroad or you're still in the same city, in the same country, it doesn't matter. When you start over, you're coming from a background, you have a certain history there. Something has happened that has necessitated the need for you to start afresh. And we're talking about relationships and dating here. So what that means is maybe you've had a divorce, you've gotten a divorce. Maybe you're coming from a background where you've broken up with someone. Maybe it's just an amicable breakup or a bad breakup. Maybe you lost a spouse. So all those scenarios apply. And also, if you haven't been in a relationship before, it still applies. So how do you start over? And why the diary of a mad black woman or a mad black single woman? Now, I took this, or I borrowed this from Tyler Perry's movie. Some of you probably know the movie, and you probably know what happened in the movie. This was a woman who was wronged by her husband. He took another woman. He had kids with that woman, and he threw her out in a very bad way. And after that, she got really mad with him, rightly so, I think, because of the way the husband handled the whole situation. So this woman was holding on to anger for a long time. And at one point, it affected her dating life when she thought of moving on, when she met this lovely man and they started dating. That bitterness, that anger she still had towards the ex-husband was still there, and it was starting to affect her new relationship. So that's why I decided to borrow that title, because it resonates with the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. So what's the best way to start over? So anyway, let me put my drink down. Now then, I would like to assume that I'm speaking to a woman or a man of a certain age. If you are my age, or maybe you're a little bit younger or older than me, this is perfect. This video is for you. You are in the right place. It would have been ideal, I think, to do a live for this topic so that we can interact. But anyway, we can still interact after I've posted this video. So how do you start over, or how do you lay the foundation for you to start dating again, or for you to enter a relationship? As I said, again, disclaimer, huge disclaimer, I'm not a relationship guru. I'm not a relationship coach. And this channel is not about relationships. It's about personal growth. And part of personal growth is relationships. Relationship is an important aspect of growing, and resilience as well. You also build resilience through your experiences, those experiences that you go through when you get a divorce, when you enter relationships, when you have to navigate differences in that relationship, when you have to build together. That process helps you to build resilience. That whole process helps you to grow. So it's relevant So that's why I needed time to think about this topic and to kind of relate it to the things that I'm passionate about. And by now, you probably know I'm passionate about personal growth. I'm passionate about resilience. So let's talk about it. How do you start over in life? How do you start over the right way? Or how can you avoid being that mad woman, that mad single black woman? I'm using black because I'm a black woman. So I have things that I wrote down here. As I said, this is just going to be a chill video. So how do you start over the right way? So in my situation, I have had to start over in my life. And I'm coming from a background where I was married before and I lost a husband. I got married at a rather young age and my husband passed away not long after that. So for me, I went through a period of starting over, starting afresh from scratch. I had to go back to my father's house and start over. Since then, there have been a few times as well where I found myself in a situation of starting over. So I know one or two things about starting over. So how do you start over the right way before you even start moving on into dating again or into entering another relationship? And the first thing that I will say, and this one is a major one, is you need to make peace with your past. This is something I had to do, especially after the passing of my husband. I went through a period of sadness. Things happened in such a way that I was so angry. I was bitter for a long time. I was heartbroken. So I went through that turmoil for a while. And I think it went on longer because at the time I didn't have the tools or the know-how, or I didn't know how to bounce back from that situation in a way that was healthy for me. But later on, I soon discovered a way, and I wrote a whole book about my experience. So this book draws heavily from my experience, what I went through when I lost my husband. So for me, writing this book was a cathartic experience. It was my way of dealing with my emotions, with my feelings, getting to the root of exactly what I was feeling, what I was experiencing. So that was one way of me making peace with my past, through healing, through confronting my issues, what was going on with me. I was angry. So if you want to hear the story, or to read the story rather, this is the book. It's available on my website. You can get it in ebook form. So you simply make a payment and you download it and you start reading. It's so simple. And I've also reduced the price. It costs more on Amazon, but if you want a hard copy, you can go and purchase it on Amazon. So that's that about my book. So I had to make peace with my past. So if you're considering dating again or entering a relationship, I think it's important to make peace with your past. If you need to heal some trauma that you need to confront, then you need to confront that trauma. Because until you do that, you always be stuck. Even if you enter into a relationship, that will disrupt your relationship. If you need to forgive someone, then go sit down with that person if you're in a position to do so, and have a talk, an honest conversation. If for some reason you're not in a position to sit down with that person, then find a way to heal. Therapy is one way. If you're a Christian, then go that route, or that route, as they say in America. Go that route, read your Bible, pray, talk to God about it. Leave your burdens into the hands of God. Because what you've got to remember is that forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about you. You're trying to make life easier for yourself. It's for you. It benefits you. So if you remember that, then you'll find it easier to handle that forgiveness. Because there are times when people wrong us and they're not even sorry. They don't even care about your feelings. So in that situation, you've got to find healing on your own. You've got to do it on your own. So do the work. Confront your past, deal with it, heal, and move on. That's the first thing. And I think this is like one of the most important things that you can ever do for yourself. And also another part of making peace with your past is reflection. You need to reflect on your past. If you got a divorce or if it's a breakup, you need to reflect on what went wrong. Did you do something? Was there something you could have done to prevent the situation? Or could you have handled things a little bit better? Because as human beings, what we often tend to do after divorce or breakup, we tend to blame the other person. I mean, it's only human, because you want to present yourself in a good light, in a positive light. Because most of the time when people talk about their divorces or breakups, they always say, oh, he did this to me, she did this to me. But when you look at the facts, if you're privy to the facts, you'll find that actually maybe you're both to blame, or you're actually the one to blame, not the other person. So it's important to be honest with yourself, to look at yourself in an honest way, because there is no point lying to yourself. If you keep denying the facts, then you're not growing. In a way, you're refusing to grow. And that won't help you in the long run, because even if you get into the next relationship, you still face the same problems. So reflection is the first step towards you correcting the mistakes. It gives you an insight as to exactly what went wrong. So once you've done your reflection, now we're getting to the good bits, where you start the actual process of moving forward with your new life. But before you do that, you need to ask yourself some soul-searching questions. Questions such as, what do I want for this next chapter of my life? What do I want to become? You've reflected, and if you recognize your mistakes, you've recognized perhaps that you don't want this person that you were in that relationship. You want to do things better. You want to become better. You want to become a better version of yourself. So this is the stage now where you really dig deep and come up with some goals for yourself, a vision for your life. What kind of person, what kind of man or woman do you want to be? If you've read the book Atomic Habits, that book talks about a new identity. That new identity that you want for yourself, what is it? Do you want to become a more confident person? Do you want to become somebody who is more outgoing? Do you want to become somebody who is inspiring, who contributes more? I mean, I'm just coming up with things. You fill in the blanks. You know what you want to become in your next chapter. The type of person who is going to have that wonderful relationship that you desire. You know the kind of person that you need to become. So have a clear picture of that person. Envision it in your mind, because they say if you can see it, or if you can envision it, then you can become it. So see yourself 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. Who is that person? And an important aspect of that process is you coming up with your why. What is your why? Your why is the reason that you want to become that person. That is like the thing that will keep you going when things get hard. Your why. Why you do everything that you do. That's your why. So it's all part of finding your purpose. Because if you're not clear as to what your why is, it is easy to get discouraged along the way when things get hard. It is easy to get swayed by things, because perhaps you will meet someone who will maybe tempt you to compromise on your desires, on your standards, the new standards that you have set for yourself. If you're not clear as to what your why is, if you don't have a clear vision, a goal, then you will be swayed very easily. So you need to know exactly what it is that you want out of life and what your why is for wanting that. So that's how you start over. It's another way, or it's another aspect of starting over. And it's important, very important, when you're starting over. So after you've established your vision, your new vision, what you want out of life, then what's the next step? Of course, this one is important as well. I think all of them really are important because they work together to make sure that you succeed. So you want to surround yourself with the right people. You want to have the right type of friends, people who are in your corner, because the process of starting over in life is not easy, because you have lost something that you hold or you held dear, and now you're starting over. It's a vulnerable time. It's a time where you need encouragement. It's a time where perhaps you need help, practical help. It's a time where you need to be reminded that you're not a complete failure. Even though things didn't work out, even though you lost this person, there is light at the end of the tunnel. That's not the end of your life. So you need people who will remind you of that. People who are supportive. People who are positive, who encourage you when you fall, because you most likely fall along the way. During that process of rebuilding your life, you will stumble along the way. So you need people who will stand firm with you. You need people who will pick you up when you're weak, when you're vulnerable, when it feels as if there's no point in trying. So look at your network, your associations. Are they the right kind of people? Do they say the right things? And by the right things, I don't mean that people should lie to you or tell you things that you want to hear. Because actually, good friends don't just tell you the things that you want to hear. They tell you the things that you need to hear when you need to hear them. And they will say it in the right way. So those are the type of people that you need in your life. Not people who will laugh at you behind your back or who will talk behind your back. You don't need those kind of people. So that's what I mean. And then the last thing, of course, is to take measures. Work towards your goal. And as you work towards becoming the new version of yourself, be patient with yourself. Give yourself the grace and the patience. I know I talk about this grace a lot, and I think I overuse it sometimes, but it's important. You need to give yourself the grace and the patience to work towards becoming that better version of yourself. Don't try and compare yourself to other people. Don't look at other people, what they have, and think, I'm just a failure, or I'll never get there. You will get there. You just need to be patient with yourself, and you need to be kind to yourself. And if you need help, there's no shame in asking for help. Swallow your pride and ask for help. It's all part of starting over. Because when you're starting over, sometimes you're starting over from nothing, like from zero. You've had to start afresh from the bottom. Maybe you've lost everything, and here you are with nothing. Ask for help. There's no shame, because what you need to realize is that anything can happen at any time to all of us. And what I've realized as well, sometimes we are our worst enemy. We think that people are laughing at us or people will judge us, when actually, if you approach people the right way, people are willing to help. But perhaps because of our past experiences, we don't want to let people in. We kind of just shut them out when we don't need to shut them out. So be willing to go and ask for help, the help that you need. So don't be ashamed. Start where you are and work your way towards becoming that person that you want to become. And if you're of a certain age, just remember that age is nothing but a number. You can start over at any age in life. You can start over and succeed at any age in life, at any stage in life. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to learn a new skill. It's never too late to start a new career. It's never too late to follow your dreams. It's never too late to become the person that you've always wanted to become. It's never too late. So I think I've talked too much in this video. And like I said, I am not a relationship guru. I'm not a relationship coach. This is just me sharing my views about life. And as I said, this is just the first part of a series that I'm going to make about dating, relationships, singleness, that sort of thing. Because I think these issues are important. That's what life is all about. And as always, if you've got something to say about anything that I've said in this video, please, I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Let's talk about it. So, as always, I hope you found it useful. If you want more content like this and haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and share. I'll see you next time. Take care.